Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let's talk about llamaparse again. I created a video 5 days before about llamaparse. That was the initial version of llamaparse where only the PDF file was supported. If you want to know in depth, then please watch this llamaparse llamaindex. But in this video, what I'm trying to do is, because now llamaparse actually provides different file formats, I will first walk you through the article that or the blog post that they provided. And what we will be doing is using two different file formats as an example, and we will pass that into the llamaparse, and we will get a really cleaned data set, because that is the main pain point when creating the RAG applications. As I said you before, also garbage in, garbage out. But if you have good data, then we can get good output out of it. And then we will use the Qdrant Cloud in order to store our embeddings, and then we will use the Groq API in order to get the really fast inference out of it. Yeah, all of these things right now are free. So yeah, let's go through RAG with APIs, because we are using all different APIs in this case. Okay, first, as you can see here, this is the blog post from llamaindex launching the first Gen AI native document parsing platform, right? You can see there are different comparisons between different platforms, my PDF, my Mu PDF, Tesseract, and PDF Miner. And they have shown that, okay, llamaparser has done the best. I have highlighted some of the things here using LLMs for old class parsing, right? By the way, if you just want to go with the real implementation, you can skip this part. I just want to show you a little bit of information before going to the actual information. The key insights behind parsing instruction is that you know what kind of documents you have, so you already know what kind of output you want, right? Why make the parser guess when an LLM enabled parser can take simple natural language instructions from you and provide radically better parsing results, right? This is really good, because using LLMs for the old class parsing is really good concept from llamaindex. And as I said you before also, rich table support, and this is for the table, and they have also given the example for parsing comic books. You can imagine how hard it will be to parse the comic books, right? So it needs to get the text out of this. And yeah, using LlamaParse, you can use the parser plain English language instructions on what to do, right? These are the things also here. And the mathematical equations also, they have shown here the example. You can pass the mathematical equations, as you can see here. Output any math equation into LaTeX for markdown between this. All the basic information is being provided here. You can just go through here. Anything an LLM can do, our parser can do. There is also the JSON mode. You can go through this image extracts and expanded document types, right? In the first video, as I said you before also, there was just the PDFs, and now there are many different file formats they supported. And one more thing is unlimited parsing. So now they have included these pricing things also, this, so that it's not restricted. Let's say you want to parse many things, then you can also pay and do it, but there is free. So 7,000 pages per week are free, meaning that 1,000 pages per day. Maximum size for one document is 750 pages. That's lot, right? And additional pages are 0.003 per page, or $3 per 1000 page. The public version of LlamaParse is hosted service. If you want to extend LlamaParse capabilities to build advanced document RAG, or wish to deploy LlamaParse in a private cloud, then you need to get in touch, because this is, again, I'm not covering the llamaCloud part, because that is another level document extraction or the RAG they are providing, right? So yeah, this is just the document. I will provide the link in the description. So yeah, just go through this blog post in depth if you want to know more information. But now, next thing, let's go and implement something, right? For the implementation, I'm just extending this llamaparser example GitHub repository, and I added one parser Qdrant Groq.py file. How to get started? I have written the instruction here. First, clone the repository locally if you want to just go along with me, and then install the necessary packages. And there is the creating the virtual environment, of course, and all new variable goes to .env. So you can just copy the example.env to .env and paste the required environment variables, right? I have already downloaded it. So let me open the terminal. So you can see here I have downloaded llamaparser or cloned LlamaParser example. Source being activating the virtual environment because I already had the virtual environment. Otherwise, you can just run this in order to install the virtual environment. And then as you can see, there are many files, and now it is already activated here. And now I will just open this in VS Code. Here is the code in the VS Code. As I said you, this is the parser Qdrant Groq.py. I don't want to update this now. Yeah, I have just provided this wget file also here because inside data, I have this presentation.powerpoint, and then there is this Uber 10Q March 2022.pdf file. What we are going to do here is we are going to first provide this into the LlamaParser, right? How to do that? By the way, as I said you before also, just run this in the terminal to download this particular file, so you can use whatever file you want to do. First, we need to run this import. So I will run this import in the interactive Jupyter environment. Let me make little bit smaller here. And then we need to load the environment variables, right? I will load from here, true. And now I will just import llamaparse from llama_parse. It's here. And llamaparse API key, I'm getting the API key from the .env, right? But if you are new, what you can do is, because I have already shown in my previous video, but you can go to this llamaCloud, and from here API keys, you can create the API keys. By the way, I have already upgraded to the premium plan because you need to upgrade to the premium plan in order to use different file formats. And if you just want to go with the normal one, it seems that only PDF was supported. Maybe it can change in the future, but just go to this API key part and generate a new API key. I have already generated and used that locally, right? Now I can go to my VS Code. So yeah, this is done. And you can just now use one of the parser, right? I've just shown here different examples because as you can see here, there is these .pdf files. So what I was doing is, you can just uncomment this first line and any of these lines and then try if it works or not, right? Because if you provide different file formats, it will show you that okay, this is not provided. It is good to try which file formats is supported, right? Instead of providing each and every files, what I decided to do is created a function so that we don't need to do this parsing again and again. I think that would be a good case for you also. What it is doing here is just creating a function, and I have passed the file here. If this is already parsed and if this is stored in this data folder, then it does not do it again, right? So that is the main concept here, nothing fancy. Okay, what you can do here is you can just uncomment one file, or what I am doing here is, if you see, I'm just loading all the files from this data folder, and this is how you can do this. You can either just parse one file like this, right? Or you can pass the multiple files because in the list. What I can do here is just go and run this function. You can see that the function is running, and now what I can do is create the parser from llamaparse, right? If I do shift enter now, as you can see here, it is going and parsing, and it says that it's starting the parsing files, and it's quite fast because you can see here, I'll show you the file. There is already now the pickle file, right? So we can use that later without again invoking the API. This Uber file is actually to 106 pages, and this is a presentation PowerPoint. It is also quite big. As you can see here, it parses quite fast these two of the files. If you want to know what is the content of it, so here you can just run what is the length. So there is two length because we have two different files, meaning that if you have many files, then there will be many length. That's the normal things. Let's say I want to show the first 100. You can see this is the financial statement of 2022, and it is showing from the PPTX, mean the PowerPoint. It is the financial statements for 2022. And if you want to just go and see what is in the PDF, just change this to 1. And now you can see that there is United States Securities and Exchange. So this is the Uber's document, right? So from here you can see the two things. And if you want to know what it is a list because it is getting in the list format. So yeah, now this part is done. We have now the clean document parsed from LlamaParser. The next thing is we are going to use the quadrant in order to store our embeddings. So for that, what you need to do is import these two lines, or just this one, and also the quadrant client. So now the thing is from where to get this quadrant API key and the quadrant URL, right? By the way, if you want me to create a new video in Qdrant, I can create that later. But for now, you can go to this cloud.quadrant.io and create one account. Once you create the account, the step is quite simple. Go to the clusters and create a new cluster. They provide one cluster for free. Just create a cluster, and if you click on this arrow, you can see the cluster URL. Just copy this and paste it in the .env. And to get the API keys, of course, if you go to this data access control, there will be API key, and just you copy the one when you create it. That's all. If you just have these two things, then we are good to go. I just get those two things and then place it inside the .env, right? Just place it inside this. And what does the .env looks like? It is just this one, but I have my API keys there, right? That's all. And once you do this, our quadrant is ready to take the embeddings. For embeddings, what I'm using here, because I'm actually using all the things apart from OpenAI's, because many of you want to create those kind of videos. So here by default, llamaindex uses the OpenAI model. So I'm using these FastEmbedEmbeddings and model BAAI BGE base. So what we can do is we can just run these two lines, and if you see here, it is going to fetch. So fetching 8 files, it is done, right? And the model I have already downloaded, so it is not shown here. So meaning that the model will be also downloaded when you first run this. And for some reason, if this fast embeddings doesn't work, I have also provided the code here for using the OllamaEmbeddings. You need to have Ollama installed and running so that you can even use the OllamaEmbeddings. This is just in case this does not work, right? So now, yeah, from the llamaindex.core, we need to import settings, because as I said you, by default, it is using the OpenAI models, and we can provide, okay, now use this embed model, which we just created. So I will just run this one, right? So yeah, settings.embed. And now our embedding model is pointing to this fast embeddings. So yeah, that is all done now. And the Groq API part is the next. For that also, you need to import from the Groq, Groq from llamaindex LLMs Groq. As you can see here, it is imported. For that also, I have created video already. Please watch that. I will just go here. There were many videos here, chatbot with Groq. So this crazy fast RAG, please refer to that video. But what you need to do is go to the playground, and you can even play in the playground here. Go to the API keys and just get one API key from here. That's all. I have already get the API keys, and again place that in the .env. Now I have the API keys from Groq, meaning that I can use models from there. There are 3 models now: Mixtral, Gemma, and Llama 2. You can use any of those. Let me just use this model, right? Now I have this LLM, which is Mixtral from Groq, right? So yeah, again here, I have also provided you for the Ollama in case the Groq doesn't work, because sometimes I see that there is the issue with the timeouts and so on. Probably you don't want to wait for that. Just run this line and LLMs, and then we need to also again say for llamaindex that we want to use the LLMs from Groq, but not from the OpenAIs. Once you run these two things settings, we can just point our LLMs here. So yeah, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the client, and the client is Qdrant client.Qdrant client, an API key and the URL that I have just provided here, right? Let me actually make this little bit bigger. Where was I? Yeah, so this is the client. You can just run this, and after the client we will be running the vector store, right? Qdrant vector store. This is done, and we will be creating the storage context. This is also done, and then we will be creating the index, right? Okay, there is some issue here. It says the vector store is not defined, so I need to run this vector store first. For some reason it was not running, and then there is this storage context, and I create the index, right? It's just the normal things. As you can see here, now it is generating the embeddings because I run here generate the embeddings, and it is generating the embeddings from the documents, right? As you can see here, we are giving the collection name this, and vector store, and llama parse document is being passed here, which is the parsed document from the llama parser, and we are passing the storage context as storage context, and that is doing the pass is show progress equals to 2. That's the reason it is showing here the progress. Now this is the vanilla index. And by the way, the same thing again. If you don't want to do this indexing again and again, what you can do is just persist this. So if you see here, there is no storage folder here. But if you run this persist, what happens? It is by default creates the storage folder, and all the embeddings will be stored here, so that you don't need to again run these embeddings again and again. Now you have this llama parser, parsed document from llama parser also stored. You have the index also being stored, meaning that these two things you don't need to do again, right? I think that would be a easy thing. And also here are the two things that I said. If you now want to, let's say, get the things from the indexing also, I have provided the code, because this is how you create the index and then you persist it. But if it was already persisted, you need to take it from there, right? So this storage context dot from defaults, and you need to pass the folder which is dot storage by default. And if you run this, then it will, you don't need to, let's say, run these things, because we already have the index. So yeah, that's all we need to do. And now we can create a query engine. So create a query engine. So we have the index as query engine. I will just run this. So yeah, now we have the query engine, and we can ask the question. We can ask the question, what is in that particular PDF? So this was normal question I asked, but what we can do is we can just go to our PDF. Let me go to the PDF here. From here, we can ask any questions. Let's say we want to ask some questions from one of the table, so that we get the answer, right? What we can say here is mobility. Let me ask this one. I don't know what it is, but the balance as of March 31, 2022, what is the mobility, right? What is the mobility as of this? Let's just ask that question. Let me go here. What is the mobility? So I can just go here and say, what is the mobility? Control V. Okay, I didn't copy that. I will just copy this part. Okay, copy. I will go here and do Control V. What is the mobility balance as of March 2022? Let's just ask this, if it gets the answer or not, right? I will just highlight this and run. Okay, it says based on the information provided, the context does not give a specific value for the mobility balance as of this. The context does not mention this. Okay, it didn't get that part here, right? Maybe we need to be a little bit more precise, right? What we can do is, let me see, we can just ask any questions from here, but I think it's not okay. Total revenue 3 months embed. This is not the right question to ask, because it needs to, I think, know the exact things. Okay, so this one we can ask. So let us ask balance as of March 2021. I think this is the same question I had before, right? Let me just uncomment this, Control Z. Yeah, okay. What is the letter of credit as of? No, this is also not. Okay, I can ask again here. What is the balance as of March 31, 2022, right? I can go here. I will just maybe copy this in the next line. This is the easiest thing I can do. I will uncomment this one, and I will say here, what is the balance as of March 2022 common stock balance. Let's ask common stock, because though it knows from where I'm asking, right? What is the COMMON common stock balance as of March 2022? Let me ask if it provides the answer or not. Okay, the common stock balance as of March 31 2022 is 1959. It is correct. Okay, 1959794. Right? You get the answer. So yeah, you can just play around with this. I'm not going to go and ask all the different questions, but you get the idea now. With the specific table, we didn't even ask, okay, what was in this table or what is the table name and so on, right? It gets the information from here. You can just go here and ask other questions also, but let me ask one question from the PowerPoint also, right? Let me open the PowerPoint actually, because if I go inside the data, I have the PowerPoint. So open PowerPoint, so we can ask from the PowerPoint also, right? When the PowerPoint is opening, this is the financial statement for 2022. This is what we get, right? From here, let me go somewhere in the PowerPoint, and okay, resulted 2021 resulted in net negative interest of, okay, we can ask this one maybe. What is the, okay, I will copy this. What is the resulted 2021, right? What I can do is just go here, maybe replace these things. What is the resulted in net negative interest of 2022, right? Yeah, let's ask this question if it gets the answer or not. And now understand that we are asking between two different documents, right? I will just say shift enter. What is the resulted? Okay, now, okay, based on the information provided, there is no indication of any net negative interest for the 2022. The context, this again, maybe the question is not, okay, it's 2021 and it's not 2022, by the way. It's 2021. Let me ask this again. The context indicates that the company has floating rate notes related to 2025. Define these facilities interaction. Okay, it provides some random information. What is the resulted in net negative interest? Is that the good question that I resulted in the net negative interest? Okay, it didn't get answer from here. Okay, what we can do? Okay, here is also something. Overall net assets by fund in 2022. Let's ask this. Control C. Overall net assets by fund in 2022. It should get this answer. What is the overall net assets by fund in 2022? Let's just ask this. Okay, to answer your question, the provided context would need to include the company's balance sheet, income statement, or a specific mention of the overall net assets by fund for 2022. Okay, it didn't get the answer from this one. Overall net assets by fund 2022 net assets. Okay, one last question. One last question I want to ask from this one. Let's go here. Liability 31. Okay, liabilities as of, okay, maybe we need to ask something related to this cash and cash equivalent. Or no, I don't need to go here. Let me go here. Yeah, this is really hard things to ask the question, what to ask, right? So let me go here. Highlights. Okay, what is the agenda, or what is the agenda of financial statement for 2022? Let's ask that, right? Let's see. What is the, ignore, what is the agenda of, I think that was complaining about this question mark here. Okay, I can just use this and I will just ask the question. Okay, the agenda for the financial statement for 2022 includes highlights of 2022, details of 2022, and draft resolutions. Is that the case? Let's go here. Okay, draft resolution, details of this, highlights of 2022. Okay, it gets the answer, meaning that I think we need to be more precise in asking the question. But yeah, by the way, we provided two different things and also it provided the answer. So yeah, it didn't work in some cases. Maybe we need to be more precise. That's also good thing, that we need to ask good questions, not just the random questions. But it is getting answer from two different documents. right? By the way, we are just using the vanilla index in this case, right? I also told you that I might be providing some additional information or 3 tips, right, for you. So what you can do is when you do the parsing, let's say you can parsing comic books with parsing instructions. This is one trick that you can use, because now there was some hiccups in answering the things, right? So what you can do is, if you follow this example here, there is this thing called parsing instructions. As you can see here, this is the vanilla parsing, and it didn't get the answer. They have provided the example also here. And when you provide the parsing instructions, let's say this is this, provide this kind of things, and then you can pass the parsing instruction inside this llama in llamaparser, then it will do the better parsing. And they have also provided that it works better by providing the parsing instructions. One is that. And the next one, what I would suggest you to do is follow this notebook. And here they have used the re-ranking things, right? So they have used this flag embedding re-ranker. So what this does is, let's say we just take 15 similarity top k things, and then we re-rank that, so that we get the good answers out of it. So this is another option that you can do to make your RAG application better. So yeah, I think that's all I want to show you in this video. We went lots of things. Again, I can maybe show you the diagram. There are different file formats now LlamaParse supports. We parse that into the LlamaParse, and remember that there was this additional thing called parsing instructions. You can parse to get better parsing, and then into the quadrant, and also in the embedding part, you can use the re-ranker to get the better top k things. And then we pass into the Groq API to run the models from the Groq website. So yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you learned something new. If yes, please give thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know if you want me to create any new content in any topics. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.